I'm gonna show you how to beat the good old 4-4-2. We'll look at the formation's strengths, its weaknesses, and some example tactics that you can use to break it down. So let's get right into it. One of the 4-4-2 strengths lies in its defense. The two banks of 4 in the midfield and the defense can really stick together and become an 8-man defensive wall for the opposition to break down. There's not many formations that create so many numbers in the defense, and combine that with the natural defensive width that the 4-4-2 creates, it becomes a hellish task to break down. But this formation really shines when it wins the ball back, because it's a counter-attacking dream. The positioning of players in a 4-4-2 creates a lot of vertical passing lines, facilitating a high-tempo, direct transition from defense to attack, making those counterattacks extra dangerous. But the distribution of players doesn't only create a lot of vertical passing lines, it also creates a lot of natural attacking width. Without having to move horizontally, the players in a 4-4-2 occupy the entire width of the pitch, naturally stretching the play and being able to pounce on any space that the opposition left behind. And even if a 4-4-2 would struggle to play the ball into that width, it can benefit from the fact that having two strikers up front is always tough to deal with. The ever popular combination of a target forward with a pacey partner is as powerful as ever, being able to skip over any press, putting them one-on-one with the center backs. But maybe the biggest strength of them all is simplicity. Usually speaking, the strikers can stay up front, the midfield only has to run up and down, and the defenders can stay back a bit more. It really only requires hard work and discipline, making it a favorite for the less technically gifted teams out there. But there are some weaknesses in the 4-4-2 that we can use to bring it down. As I just said, the formation requires a lot of hard work and discipline, which will take its toll on players. Especially the midfielders will have to go up and down the pitch a lot, having to support both the attack and the defense. This constant up and down running of the midfielders might see the performance drop in the later stages of the match, which a patient opponent might look to exploit. Secondly, the 4-4-2 will never really dominate a match, as the formation doesn't suit the possession-based approach that well. Its players are spread too far apart to really facilitate those interplay combinations, so you probably won't see the next Barcelona tiki-taka playing a 4-4-2. Adding to that, the 4-4-2 might not let every type of player really shine, especially the creative types. Its simple, rigid structure usually doesn't leave space for any players like, for example, Özil to have a creative spark, making the formation more predictable and therefore a bit easier to counteract. And perhaps the largest weakness of a 4-4-2 is its struggles with a central overload. As the formation only has those two central midfielders, it's quite easy for the midfield to get outplayed by a 3-player triangle or 4-player box, losing ground in that valuable central area. This tactical insight ushered in the popularity of a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1, and it's something that we can exploit with our tactics. And perhaps the biggest weakness of a 4-4-2 is that it didn't tap that like button. Can you imagine? Now that we know the 4-4-2's weaknesses, let's look at 3 example tactics, each one looking to exploit one of the weaknesses. This first tactic is looking to dominate possession, and with that neutralize the threat of a 4-4-2's counterattack. The most important positions in this tactic are the 3-man midfield, who can create a triangle in the central area that'll outplay the 4-4-2's midfield, and can create chances for the attack. When we're attacking, we're looking to prevent losing the ball and getting counterattacked by dropping our tempo a bit, dribbling less and really working the ball into the box. We're also not gonna go head over heels to start counterattacking ourselves, choosing to calmly start our attack from central areas by distributing the ball to our center backs. But this tactic isn't all calm and easy, as we want that ball at all times. So out of possession, we're gonna press high and with a lot of intensity to get the ball back as quickly as possible. But that's certainly not the only way to combat a 4-4-2. Let's look at tactic number 2. This second tactic looks to exploit the toll a 4-4-2 takes on its midfield, waiting patiently to then strike with a quick counterattack through the middle. Having 8 players back to defend ourselves will cut off any danger from the 4-4-2, while the 3 central midfielders are ready to explode forward and overwhelm the midfield. We're really doubling down on overloading the central areas, with 2 inverted wingbacks joining the midfield and focusing our play down the middle with some high-tempo football. We want to lure them into our counter-attacking trap, so out of possession we're gonna lower our defensive line and drop off a bit more, while keeping our strikers a bit more forward to quickly get them behind. And you better believe that this time we are hitting that counter instruction. Now let's go to our final tactic. This free centre-back system helps to defend against the danger of the 2 strikers of a 4-4-2. Especially against a target forward pacey partner combination, the central defender on cover will help to sweep up any balls that are headed on. In the attack, our 2 inside forwards will sit more narrow, creating a box in the midfield to overload the central areas. Combining with this, we're going to be making our attacking width a bit more narrow, while focusing our play down the middle to really use that central box that we created. And this time, we're not going to give them any time at all. all. Counter-pressing when we lose the ball, focusing on the counter-attack when we get the chance, and pressing high and with a lot of intensity to make their life a living hell. But these are just example tactics. The most important thing is that you'll now know the weaknesses of a 4-4-2, and you can find your own ways to exploit them. And be sure to check out my other videos to learn how to destroy different formations in Football Manager. I'll see you on the next video.